The biggest transformation of our lives is happening right now with AI. Every single public company right now is using AI, and they're using it to try and reduce their workforce. They're trying to eliminate their expenses of having actual workers doing work and being paid for that work. If AI can take over a job, many public companies are looking to have AI do that job permanently. But as investors, as people that are looking at AI from the outside, there are many different ways that we can take advantage of the AI movement and invest into these AI companies, these AI stocks, or just any of the stocks that are going to benefit the most from artificial intelligence and the growing technology trend that is taking over. So there are many different ways to invest in the AI movement. I am not your stock advisor. Remember, always make your own investment decisions before putting your money into any one investment. And now let's get into it. What are the different ways that you can invest into AI? I've broken it down into 5 different sections or 5 different ways that each individual, each investor can invest into this AI movement. And let's go ahead and start right off the bat, and that is with the pure play AI company, the AI giants that are taking over the market. This would be your stocks like Microsoft, your stocks like Nvidia, your stocks like Amazon, Google. Probably the top 3 right now are Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. Those are the biggest pure play AI stocks at the moment. And I think those companies will win. Those companies have been successful in the past and they will be into the future. So if you're an investor, you could put money into those stocks, and it's likely that those companies are just going to continue to perform how they have performed in the past going into the future. They'll just be spending a lot more money on their AI initiatives. That's when people ask me, do I think that AI is going to be transformative into the market? And honestly, I don't really know how big AI is going to be in 5 years or 10 years from now, if it will be the next revolution or industrial revolution that we have seen in our lifetime. But what I do know is that these companies, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, they have all committed to spending unheard of amounts of CapEx on the AI initiative, literally hundreds of billions of dollars, as much money as they can spend into those stocks as possible, or as they can into the AI revolution. It is happening. That is going to happen. So you can purely invest in companies that are spending a lot of money on AI and expect that those are going to perform well, that those are going to stay at the top of the heap when it comes to AI. Now, there's a lot of other ways to play AI, and we've seen it play out already in the stock market with the next section of investments, and that is what I like to call the AI suppliers. So all of the companies that are needed to make AI happen. There are so many different segments of the AI space. The AI supporters is a stocks that I like to classify as Nvidia, the chip stocks, the different chip stocks that are powering the AI brain are the AI suppliers or the supporters. And that's your Nvidias, your AMDs. Intel is kind of going through a hard time right now, but they have a lot of momentum behind them. They have a lot that's going for them in the future. So you could be buying all of those stocks. I still think you could be buying at a discount right now compared to how much they're going to be valued in 5 years from now. Now, Nvidia, that's a whole nother story. Nvidia has already been very successful. They're a $4 trillion, $5 trillion company, and they are probably going to continue to be successful as they continue to get orders. But that's very expensive. Nvidia is a very expensive stock. They've already run up a lot in the market. Now, does that mean that they are overvalued, or that you're getting in, you've already missed the run up and that you have missed the party? I don't think so. I think that there's still a lot of room to run. No doubt it's a high valuation that they're going to have to continue to climb that stock higher for investors to make money from here on out. But I think they could continue to run. China is coming back online for them. Same for AMD. China is coming back into the mix. The US is allowing those companies to sell specific chips into China, which will just boost their revenue. And I don't think these companies like Microsoft or Amazon, I don't think they're going to slow down spending on these chips for the time being. As Nvidia continues to roll out newer chips, better, faster chips, I think there's going to be an appetite for them across the board for all these tech companies and just other companies that are adopting AI. So there's a lot of different suppliers in the AI space from Nvidia. Nvidia is a chip designer. You can do Taiwan Semi, which is actually the chip manufacturer for NVIDIA. And then you have companies like ASML, which is a Netherlands company that makes the machines that go into the manufacturing plant that then build the chips. So that's another piece of the puzzle for that. Then you have the materials that go into the actual chips, the actual components that make up the chips. And then you have the designers like Lam Research, people doing research on these chips themselves. And so there's all these different parts of the AI manufacturing chain that you could invest into. One that we haven't even talked about, which could be its entirely own section that you as an investor could invest into for AI, is energy. Energy, we all know the classic energy forms: solar, oil and gas, oil, natural gas. Those are pretty much the big suppliers of energy, as well as things like utility companies. Well, nuclear is also coming online, so nuclear energy could be a player in the AI future. What we know for certain is that AI requires a lot of data centers to make AI happen and make it all go round. So those data centers require cooling. It has to stay cool in those data centers when they're running all of this hardware. And then they also have to be powered by energy. So if you invested today into energy companies, that will probably be in demand and more in demand 5 years from now than it is today. So you really have to do, the reason it could be its own section is energy is because you have to know that space. You have to know which players in the energy infrastructure are going to be the winners and what are going to be the losers. Energy requires a lot of capex, a lot of spending to make it successful, and then they have to have the customers for that energy. So really do a lot of research into the energy companies before diving into. I think the AI suppliers are going to be more of a sure thing than the energy companies, just because they are literally filling demand. Now, what could happen is that this could all be cyclical. So today, Microsoft and Google are spending hundreds of billions of dollars, but maybe in 3 years or 5 years, they're not going to need to spend as much money as they are now. So there could be a huge drop off for some of the suppliers for these AI companies, as maybe they spend their capex and they don't have to spend that capex going forward. So that's definitely something to look at. Is this more of a cyclical bet rather than a long-term bet? And then there are the next big section, the third big section. We've already covered the AI companies themselves, the suppliers, the subsection of energy. The third one is the AI outside adopters. These are all of the companies that are going to be adopting the AI. I already mentioned that AI is pretty much in all of the major Fortune 500 large public companies that are out there. Maybe not some of the smaller cap stocks, but pretty much all of the major stocks throughout the world are adopting AI into their businesses. Now, how is that going to change their business from retailers to energy to technology? Every sector is adopting this. Are these companies going to be more efficient? Is Walmart going to be more efficient? Is Costco going to be more efficient? And does that translate to profitability? You have to really know each company inside and out and how they are using AI to make their business more profitable. So there's lots of companies, specific companies that are adopting it. I imagine in the beginning, it's going to be the technology companies that benefit the most from AI, from GoDaddy to Adobe, Autodesk, all of these companies that can plug in AI to their business and then they can tout, hey, we have these AI benefits, pay us more for our services. What's harder to figure out is a company like Disney or Nike or Netflix, are they going to be adopting AI and how is AI going to drive profitability for those specific businesses? If you can do the research and figure out which companies are on the cutting edge of that side of the business, then I think you could really have some good stocks on your hand. But I don't think that the traditional big boy companies are going to be disrupted, specifically Adobe. Adobe, with the generation, the image generation and the text generation, people were afraid that Adobe might not be necessary for designers, for people creating marketing and artwork and images. But I think that Adobe more than ever will be even better. Like if you are a business customer and you're signed up for Adobe, I think because Adobe is adopting their own AI into their products, they're really, it's just going to become, that product will just become so much more advanced. The experts will have to pay more for Adobe and they will be able to do so much more with their software that that software will become important. Now, maybe not for the lower tier. Adobe has a lot of customers that are on the mid-level or lower level or entry level for their customers. Those customers might be able to use ChatGPT or Google Gemini for their business. But I don't think the enterprise level, the really most valuable customers of Adobe, are going to pay less or are going to dump the Adobe service. I think a lot of the companies that have been successful in the technology space, Autodesk, which has AutoCAD for engineering, SAP, Salesforce, all these tech companies, I think they're still going to be very good, and they're just, AI is just going to add to their product rather than actually eat them alive as investments. So that's definitely a section to look at. Who is adopting it the most and who's doing it the most efficiently? Now, the last two sections, I'm just going to lump into one section, and that is to take the basket approach. If you are an investor, I particularly like to pick individual stocks that I believe in, that I've done my homework on, that I think are going to win. But if you don't know which one is going to be the winner, you might just pick an ETF or a fund that is invested into all technology or specifically focused on the AI sector. So there are a lot of great ETFs out there. One of my favorite, the VGT, the Vanguard Technology ETF, QQQ. That's another one, just a full technology ETF. And so you're investing into all the really high-end tech firms as well as other innovators in the space. But you're taking a huge basket approach. You're investing into a lot of companies when you buy an ETF, which if AI increases the profitability of the biggest firms, if the investors are putting money into Google and Microsoft, then it's going to drive up those ETFs. So you might just be better taking a basket approach. The biggest behemoth of all for stocks in the AI space, I think, is going to be Microsoft. They've already put so much money into OpenAI, Sam Altman. They've integrated it into all parts of their business, and they were pretty early they saw that trend coming and they jumped on it really quickly. And I think they're going to spend. Microsoft has the money and they have the desire to spend as much money as needed to be at the top of the AI race. So I really think that company is going to be very dominant in AI for a long time, and probably if anybody's going to win from the AI game, I think it's going to be Microsoft, as well as Google and Amazon. They're also very dedicated to the space as well, so they have a lot of money to throw at it as well. They're all the cloud providers, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon, the three largest cloud providers for businesses, they're going to invest as much as necessary in order to stay on the front of the AI movement. So we shall see. The last section I lump in with the fund section is venture capital. So there's a lot of companies that are not public, like OpenAI. OpenAI is still a private or not-for-profit business, so you can't just buy and sell it as a stock on the stock market. Same for the Elon Musk, Elon Musk AI business. You can't invest in those businesses unless you go to venture capital or the private markets. So that's another way, but it's not as easy. Your money's not as liquid as those businesses. So you really have to do your homework and get into those funds. But if you get in early before an IPO, it's probably going to be successful in the long run, because a lot of these IPOs are going crazy now that the stock market is realizing how much potential is in AI. So ETFs, venture capital, I kind of lump it together just because it's more of a basket or more of a broad approach rather than the specific individual stocks that you can buy on the market and invest in that. So those are all of the different ways and options that you have for investing into AI. You can do the AI giants, you can do the AI suppliers, you can do AI adopters, the individual companies using AI, ETFs, and venture capital, as well as energy. So there's so many different ways that you can invest in AI. You just have to really focus on it and get into that space. I think this is the investment wave of the future, whether you want it to be or not. It's here and it's going to keep on coming. So don't miss this boat. Do your research, invest in the options that you think are the most lucrative. And remember, thank you for watching this video. Go ahead and hit the like button if you found this helpful. And remember to make good money choices. Till next time.